Your annuity may indeed be affected by service history issues. There are three in particular that we will deal with today and give you an example of each of those service history issues that may make an adjustment to your annuity calculation. The first is non-deduction service. That is time you were working for the federal government, but your retirement was not being withheld for you. Temporary time, co-op time, or seasonal work. If that time was before October 1 of 1982 and you did not pay it back, your annuity will be reduced by 10% of the deposit owed. If that work or your work began after or on October 1 of 1982 and you did not pay or buy that time back, it will indeed affect your annuity computation and not be a part of that amount. Obviously, all the time that you work for the federal government, whether or not you pay the time back, will count toward leave. Here is an example of non-deduction service buyback. A federal employee, 52 years of age, retires at age 56. He began federal service in 1983 and has 2 years of non-deduction service. For him, his deposit amount was $4,226. Without making the deposit, his monthly annuity would be $3,008. However, if he made the deposit on that time, his monthly annuity now goes to $3,197. With this difference, the break-even is under 2 years. A second service issue is refunded service. This is time that you worked for the federal government, you left, and you took your retirement funds with you. You later, however, returned to federal service. If the refund was taken before March 1 of 1991 and not paid back, your annuity is actuarially reduced for the rest of your life. If your refund was taken on or after March 1 of 1991, it will count as all of the other refunded service. It will count for your leave. However, if you don't pay that time back, it will not count toward your annuity computation. So we have non-deduction service and reduction service. Here is an example of the redeposit buyback for refunded service. The employee is 57 years old, retires at age 62, beginning federal service in 1980 and has 5 years of redeposit service. The deposit amount is $40,250. Without making the redeposit, his monthly annuity would be $2,614. However, in making the deposit, the monthly annuity becomes $3,087. With that difference, the break-even is just over 7 years. Typically, we will see a 7 to 10 year threshold for paying back the redeposit or refunded service. The third part of service history that we find as an issue that may affect your annuity computation is post-1956 military service. If you were hired as a CSRS before October 1 of 1982 and you do not buy back your military time, you will fall under the Catch 62 provision that Brandon will address in just a moment with you. If your military service is not paid back and your employment as a CSRS is on or after 1982, you will not receive credit for your annuity computation, nor will that military time count for your leave eligibility. And now Brandon will address the Catch 62.
So to talk Catch 62, first I'm going to actually read just a paragraph from our new book that you now see on the screen. It's called Navigating Your Federal Retirement, Your Successful Passage into Financial Freedom. Now, the concepts in this book are proven tools to help you navigate your CSRS retirement and including Roth TSP, taxes and income strategies, and Social Security planning. So we are thrilled to provide this resource to you. If you'd like to call and purchase a copy, we'll be glad to help you with that. But I'll continue on in our training now. I'm going to read straight from what is page 22 of our book, just a quick little paragraph. The Catch 62 states that those CSRS employees who did not make a deposit for any military service and will be eligible for Social Security when they reach age 62 will have their annuity calculated twice. The first calculation will be at your initial retirement and will include any military service time, even if you did not make a deposit. When you turn 62, your annuity is recalculated and any military time is omitted from the calculation. If you are not eligible for Social Security at age 62, then your annuity will not be calculated twice, and you'll be allowed to keep your annuity credits for military time served. As long as you were hired under CSRS before October 1st, 1982, military service time counts toward retirement eligibility regardless of Social Security eligibility. Now, there's more on Catch 62 if you'd like more assistance. Again, we'd love for you to get a copy of our book. It's about 165 pages of just good insight to help federal employees. Now, here's a copy of a pay stub, and we're going to talk further about your service history requirements.
Please remember, as you look at your pay stub, particularly there at Section 11, your service computation date for leave is listed in Section 11. Please remember that with these service history adjustments that we've been discussing, that may or may not be the date for your retirement service computation date. Please be careful that you do not assume that this particular date is the one that will be used for your annuity computation. What we would encourage you to do is to secure the service history forms we have listed here and become diligent and proactive in resolving your service history issues. First, receiving a summary of your federal service, which I'm sure most of you have already done. If there are any deposits or redeposits to be made, you can secure that amount with the form listed 2803. And then if there is a military deposit to be made, you see the form OPM 1515. All of this is certainly worthy of your effort so that you can be correct and accurate in the amount of pension you're going to receive when you retire. There's yet one more component to your annuity computation, and that is whether or not you had part-time during any period of time in your service history. If you had any part-time service, there will be a prorated formula. The hours that you actually worked will be divided by the total number of full-time hours that could have been worked. In this example, the percentage of time worked is 87%. There will be some percentage of your time, and that would be the calculation for your annuity. So please remember, part-time work does become a part of your annuity calculation. Now let's talk about the formula for the calculation itself. There are actually three different components for your calculation. We have secured your high 3. You know your numbers of years of service, the two most important components of your annuity calculation. And now you will see the percentages used to come up with your annual number. Your high 3 times 1.5 times your first 5 years of service is the first component. Secondly, the second 5 years of service receive a 1.75% multiple. And finally, your high 3 is multiplied by 2% for the rest of your years of service. Adding those three together and seeing the example here of an employee that made $80,000, you would see that an annual annuity in this case is $45,000 a year. Divide that by 12 and you will get what your monthly pension is. Remember, for law enforcement, special provisions employees, the calculation is a bit different. Their first 20 years of service has a multiple of 2.5. The rest of their years of service above 20 years is a high 3 times 2%. Adding these together the annual special provisions annuity is secured. Again, if you like to work on a monthly mindset, divide that number by 12 for your monthly pension. Is it worth it to work more than your eligible years? What happens if you work more than 1 year? What difference does that make? Brandon will address that at this time.
So let's give a scenario here for just a moment. We have someone with an SCD of 1978. They plan to retire at the end of 2015 at the age of 61 and have a salary of $120,000 a year. Now, a lot of numbers on this page, but we've broken down the CSRS formula into its 3 components as Joey explained them earlier. And with the 1.5% on the 5 years, 1.75 on the next 5 years, and 2% on everything thereafter, we come up with an annuity of $86,429 per year. Now, take note, this is a gross annuity. We haven't taken out health insurance or taxes or any other benefits. It's a gross number, but it's going to help you determine what the value of a year is worth. Now, let's assume that you decided to work 1 more year. What we now see is only a difference in this bottom tier where we have an extra year of service, and the annuity is now $88,831. So if we work 1 more year, then you have the value retiring at age 62 is $88,800 per year, minus if you'd have retired a year earlier at $86,000, giving you $2,400 a year in additional pension income for working 1 more year. Now, that is a gross number. That is not a net number, so you have to take taxes out of that. But that comes to about $200 a month that you would pick up in additional annuity in this scenario if you worked 1 more year. Is it worth it to you? Well, it depends. What kind of lifestyle do you have? Are you needing that extra $200 a month to make ends meet? Do you enjoy your work and assume just to work another year or two? You have to factor in all those other pieces, but I think it helps people to see the value as little or as big as you see it for working 1 more year. And especially for CSRS, many a times when we actually calculate that estimated bring home income, when we take down all the taxes and take out all the noise to get that comparison, we find that people will actually bring home right at, or sometimes even more than they're bringing home today for working. So it's a great benefit, a great system, but I just want to make sure you understand the value of working another year since we get that question so many times.